So 2 months ago, I made a video titled So Soap MacTavish is Alive, WTF. And I got a ton of hate for that video. You guys said I was crazy. You guys thought it was absolutely ridiculous that I was even making a video on it. But here we are 2 months later, and lo and behold, season 4 is afoot, and they put out one promo image, and guess who is in it? Soap MacTavish. That is right. They are bringing him back somehow from the grave. Now, let me briefly go over what I went over in that video from 2 months ago. I put it out, I believe it was like March 15th. And on March 15th, I said that they put out a new bundle, or I believe it was actually a black cell operator for Soap MacTavish with the kind of insignia or description that said, I wasn't in that tunnel. Now, this, of course, pays homage to Commander Philip Graves. Commander Philip Graves, of course, died at the end of Modern Warfare 2, or so we thought. At the end of Modern Warfare 2, Task Force 141 goes hunting for members of Shadow Company, the main one being Commander Philip Graves. They get into a gunfight with a tank, and tank goes boom. Later in season 5 of Modern Warfare 2, as it turns out, we get this famous tagline from Commander Philip Graves.
Heard you died in a tank in South America.
Well, I wasn't in that tank.
Which then in turn, of course, told us that he did not die. So when we see this kind of description for a Soap MacTavish saying, I wasn't in that tunnel, it leads us to believe that indeed Soap MacTavish was not dead. And lo and behold, season 4 comes along. Guess who's in the promo image? Now, at first I was like, okay, there's no way that this is Soap. There's absolutely no way. They're not bringing him back. Even when I made that video about Soap potentially not being dead, I still didn't believe it and thought it was crazy because the plot armor on these characters at this point is insane. They've done it with Alex. They've done it with Commander Philip Graves. They've done it with so many characters that were assumably killed off and then brought back, and here we are once again. So I didn't believe that this was Soap, but then you look at the image description on Twitter, and lo and behold, it says that this character is Soap MacTavish. So what exactly happened? If you didn't play the campaign for Modern Warfare 3, here's what you need to know. By the very end of the campaign, Task Force 141 with Soap MacTavish go into a tunnel where Makarov has planted a bomb. When they finally work their way to the bomb, they go to defuse it. Captain Price, as well as Soap MacTavish, are working to defuse the bomb. When Vladimir Makarov shows up, they get in a fight, into a struggle, and Makarov shoots Soap MacTavish square in the head. I want to be very clear about something. Pay attention to where he gets shot. It is in the left side of Soap's head, around his temple, like square in the brain, but we'll put that aside for a second. That is where he gets shot. So we know that that is where there should be a wound of some sort. So we look at the image here and we see the left side of Soap MacTavish's head, and it appears as though right above his left eye, there might be a very, very small scar. It is hard to make out, and if you do, it's not as big as you think it would be for quite literally a gunshot wound. But needless to say, it very well might be there. So as of right now, the most recent information that we got on this is the season 4 trailer. Now in this trailer, it's a long look at, again, Soap MacTavish. He walks through many different areas, and the kind of timeline of this one is stopping the contamination. There's a countdown going on. Clearly, there's some sort of contamination going on the Urzikstan map. So that is essentially the story that we have moving forward with season 4. Nowhere is it in here addressed as to what the heck Soap MacTavish is doing in this. So I wanted to address a couple of rumors and what people are saying as to how this is possible that Soap MacTavish is once again returning and did not die in that tunnel. There's a couple of ways where it is possible, and I wanted to take a look at what those may be. And yeah, there's a couple of rumors that just aren't correct, so I don't exactly know where they are going with this or how they are going to explain it, but as of right now, they haven't. So first off, we have what we see at the very end here. We have Soap MacTavish wearing this strange Bane looking mask, and maybe this is there to help him breathe. Some sort of traumatic injury from the bullet wound caused him to have trouble to breathe, so he needs this mask to live. Maybe it's something along those lines. But I think the big thing that we are missing here is at the very end of the campaign, there is quite literally a scene where we have an urn with Soap MacTavish cremated in it. He is dust at this point, at least according to the rest of Task Force 141. So to say that he just survived the bullet wound doesn't really make any sense, because it makes this entire scene that you are watching makes absolutely zero sense. Okay, Option number two. Option number two is that Soap MacTavish is not alive. He is still dead. And a couple of things to kind of support this is, number one, we know that the Modern Warfare Zombies storyline takes place before the campaign of Modern Warfare 3. So technically that could mean the post scenes that we are seeing in these various seasons are taking place before the events of the Modern Warfare 3 campaign. So at this point where Urzikstan is going on and everything like that, that would mean it is before the events of Modern Warfare 3, except there's one really major big problem with this. We know that that is not the case, because even in Season 1 for Modern Warfare 3, it tells the story of Nolan escaping from Task Force 141's custody and going back to fight in Urzikstan, which means all of the events happening in these various seasons have to be happening after the events of Modern Warfare 3. So yes, Zombies is happening before the events of the campaign, but no, Warzone and multiplayer are taking place after the fact, which means Soap would have already got shot in the head. So this leaves us with the only other option that is actually possible for Soap MacTavish to be alive, and that is the fact that indeed, Soap MacTavish is not in the tunnel. Just like that little snippet in the description of his black cell operator would state, is that he was not in that tunnel, which is the exact same thing that they did with Graves at the end of Modern Warfare 2, which to me is just absolutely ridiculous. Now, the only reasoning for this is to make Makarov think that he killed Soap MacTavish. So there was some sort of body double or something else going on at that point. And then they were hiding Soap MacTavish so that he could go undercover and get information on Vladimir Makarov. That is really the only thing that makes sense in a at least somewhat realistic sense. There is one other option though. When we look at this entire promotional image and then the trailer for season 4, there are all of these things like in the background of this image, for example, like DNA and things along those lines. The only other option, and this is way out there, is that this is potentially a reanimation of Soap MacTavish. No, you didn't hear me wrong, and in fact, they have done this before with the Black Ops 4 story. In this, they brought back characters like Frank Woods, Reznov, Alex Mason in things that they called archetypes, where basically they use their DNA to bring back people from the dead. No, you didn't hear me wrong, and yes, it's just as ridiculous as it sounds. So needless to say, this is a very, very big plot hole. I put this out on Twitter earlier today, and yeah, it's a huge, huge plot hole. And hopefully in the blog post when it comes out or the season 4 cutscene, they try to give us an explanation to how he could possibly be alive. And when we get that, I will keep you guys updated. I will make a video on how he survived. But Soap MacTavish should be dead and isn't. And they've done this over and over again. We saw this with Viktor Zakhaev at the end of the Warzone story being brought back. They said he was alive at the bottom of that missile silo. We saw this with Alex at the end of Modern Warfare 2019. We saw this with Commander Philip Graves, and over again, I have to come forward and try to explain these plot holes to you guys that just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, the plot armor is just off the charts. And if you have any theories on this, let me know down in the comments. And when I put together a good explanation, I will have a video out on it. But for now, Soap's alive.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're